Hey, check. I think you can hear me right now. Nice. Get ready for the event of a lifetime. All right, here we are. We're live and a little fuzzy. Come into focus. Boom. Okay, we're here. That was planned. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about how to create a fan magnet. And this is an idea that comes from the internet marketing world. Hold on, let me make sure. So I have like the video going on over here so I can kind of watch everything and read your comments live. And it looks like everything's working. So if you're watching this right now, then Navid, I saw the thumbs up. Okay, cool. So I know that I'm not alone here. Okay, cool. So yeah, creating a fan magnet. This is actually a term that I'm borrowing from the internet marketing world called a lead magnet. And basically, a lead magnet is something that you offer as like an ethical bribe to your potential fans in order to have them sign up for your list, for your email list, or subscribe for something from you, and you give them a bonus, like a gift, in exchange for signing up for either like their phone number or your emails. And why is that important in the first place? A lot of reasons it's really important, and I'm really glad that I kind of discovered this secret early on. But building your list is probably the most important thing that you can do in terms of building your fan base, as opposed to just building things on social media. Because when you have an email list, it's yours, and it can't change as sporadically as Facebook and Twitter and Snapchat. There's always going to be a new platform or something that comes out that radically changes everything. Just, I think it was last week, Facebook released a new update that basically makes it so 90% of the posts that you normally used to be able to the normal reach that you would get on your Facebook page got cut by 90%. So now like you basically have to be paying money in order to reach your fans on Facebook. And I know musicians who put their entire stock into their social media pages only to have something like that happen where they lose all of it. So it's really, really important to have some sort of list, like an email list or a phone number list or something, some way that you can connect with your fans that isn't just through social media. And that's not to say that, social media is bad and you shouldn't do it, but it's just way more important to be able to use an email list or something that's yours that can never change. And it's also really like a lot more direct, like on social media, on Facebook or Twitter. When you post something, just in general, there's so much distraction, other things going on, that it's really hard to actually reach your fans and connect with them. Where if you have an email list, then you maybe 1 out of 100, if you're lucky, of your fans are going to see your post if you post on social media. But your open rates on your emails are probably going to be somewhere in like the 50 to 60% if you're doing things right. So it's just like a lot more direct way to actually reach your fans. So, okay, so what I did, first of all, is this is all the thumbs up for you, man. Yes. Awesome. Thank you, by the way. I saw you commented on my Facebook post. So I'm officially going to be a dad in July. So it's kind of crazy. Hey, I appreciate that, man. Naveed is sharing it with other dudes, maybe your bandmates. Awesome. Uh, yeah, okay. So I created, to be honest, like the last couple hours, I've just been a little bit frantic because I've been trying to set this up and get this live stream working technically and get all the tools set up. So I think, fingers crossed, hopefully it all works, but I think that this is going to be kind of cool. I'm going to do a little screen share so that you can see a little presentation that I made. All right, here we go right now. This is going to be really trippy for a second. Boom. Okay. So really should now you see like its inception of that. The reasons, so I can go like this. And hopefully this is coming in clear. Okay, so creating your fan magnet. Fan base growth, hacking. Okay, so we're presenting fan base growth hacking. I broke this up into different steps. If you watched one of my earlier videos, I had this little graphic that I made for a fan funnel. So basically, just going through it really quickly, when you want to grow your fan base, first of all, you need to start off by finding who your potential fans are. So thinking about what kind of music do they listen to, where do they hang out, are they fans of other bands, do they go to shows? It's really really important to figure out who are your potential fans. Then to find some sort of way to introduce yourself to them. And then from there, you want to be able to connect with them and actually build a relationship. And then from there, you've kind of earned the right to make some sort of offer, or maybe you offer a CD, or maybe tickets to a show, or merchandise bundle, something. But, you wouldn't want to just go from introducing yourself to someone to just immediately trying to like sell something. That just feels weird, and it's just not cool. But when you actually build a relationship with them, then people actually want to take you up on an offer. They want to, at least some people will want to move deeper. And that's, how you create a fan and a fan base, and how it can, actually sustain you so you can do this for a career. So what I did here is there's actually more here. So what I've done is I've filled in the gaps a little bit. So this is like the overall system. And these four things I kind of see as going in between these steps. So it's kind of like, how do you introduce yourself to potential fans with a traffic generator? How do you go from, that introduction to connecting with them deeper? Well, you have to have some sort of fan magnet so you can put them on your list. Connecting to an offer, you want to be able to accelerate your relationship so that you can actually make the offer. And then you have to actually have something to offer to them so that they become a fan. So some potential traffic generators, really, there's so many things that you can do and you can try out and you can test, but to make these things happen. But I'm going to give you just a few that I made off the top of my head. So traffic generator. I think some of the best traffic generators are music videos, promoting to fans in line, and collaborating with other artists. And I know this might be a little bit small. I'm not sure if you guys can read this or not. So music videos, you can either do covers or originals. Covers can be a really great way to generate traffic. People who haven't heard of your music before, your potential fans. If you put out a cover video that's really good, then that's a great way to generate traffic early on, to kind of introduce yourself to those people. Original videos can work too, but a lot of times on this initial stage where you're just generating traffic, original videos might not have the same amount of reach as you might get with your covers. But what you can do is, there's a lot of different places that you can post your music videos. On Facebook, you can run a campaign where you post your video on your Facebook page, and then you run ads, and you send the ads you target all of your potential fans that ideally you want to have a list of maybe like 10 influences or bands that you're a fan of that you think would also like your music. And you can target those people specifically with your music videos. And that can be a way that you generate traffic, which is step one. You could also do that with your original music videos. You can try that out. Line promotion. So that's something I've talked about before in the tour hacking workshop, so I won't go super deep into either of these. And then artist collaborations. One of the best is, I'm going to go close the door quick, or someone just got home. It's going to be kind of loud. All right. Artist collaborations. So one of the best ways that you can grow your fan base pretty quickly is if you have some connections with like a bigger artist or someone who's willing to take you under their wing, or people who are around your same size that would be a good collaboration where it's kind of like you rub my back, I'll rub yours. It looks like we're kind of fuzzy right here, but it's not that important that you see my face. It's kind of mysterious. It's the way I can say anything I want and take none of the responsibility. Okay, so you have the traffic generator on the top, right? So then how do you actually go from introducing yourself to connecting with them more? Boom, here comes the fan magnet. So the way that you can kind of think of a fan magnet is the traffic generator. Let's say your fans are like metal, right? And there's a ton of, it's raining metal. So it's awesome. It's raining metal, fans are everywhere. That's great. But if you don't have a way to attract them and to connect, form that relationship, then they're just going to keep falling through your fingers. You have to have your fan magnet is a way that you can actually pull those people in. And once you get their contact information, that's how you start to build more of a relationship. That's like building the roots of your tree. So the fan magnet is the thing that actually draws people in and magnetically connects you with them, at least starting out. So a few ideas for a fan magnet are, and this is something that you want to test too. Ideally, what you do is you ask your existing fans, you're like, hey, which one of these things would be the coolest? And maybe you have a list of 3 or 4 ideas. But basically, the idea of a fan magnet is they go to a page off of your traffic generator. So you meet them here, and then you send them to a page that gives them a fan. It says, hey, like if you're interested, if you want to join our private fan community, then just enter your email address and we'll send you the link. Something like that. And once they enter their email address, then you've connected with them, and then you can keep following up with them later. So creating a fan magnet, private fan community, I think is really cool. If I know, Naveed, you've talked about you already have one of these, and I think that honestly, I think the future of artists and like building sustainable careers is really going to be tied in deeply to your ability to build a community or build an online community and maybe have like several tiers. I think Patreon does a really fantastic job of allowing artists to do that for relatively like cheap. Like it's pretty much free on upfront, and then they only take I think 5%. So they're awesome. So Patreon's like a potential thing you can use for this. But really, at this stage, just starting out, I think having a private Facebook group is really important, because those private groups, you can still really reach people, as opposed to your Facebook page where they cut the reach dramatically. With the group, you actually can build that community much better. And if it's a private fan community, then it gives you a reason to have some sort of page where they can, opt in to join the community. And it also helps you keep, if there's some people you don't want to be in it, if they're like really negative or, not nice people, they're abusive, then, you can cut them out. Okay, so another idea for a fan magnet, and again, there's a lot of different ideas, but these are just kind of 3 that came off the top of my head, are doing some sort of contest or giveaway. So let's say that you did a music video campaign and you ran Facebook ads for it, and you put like $100 in, and you have 5,000-6,000 views, like 300 likes on it. And then what you do is, step 2, you set up Facebook ad campaign number 2, which could be something like, first of all, you only target the people who watched maybe 50 or 75% of your music video. So that's a really cool thing you can do in Facebook ads. So you target those people. Maybe if you have enough, you can create a lookalike audience so that you're targeting all of those people, and you send them a post where it says, hey, we're doing this giveaway. You can win this awesome thing for free, like tickets, backstage tickets. Go ahead and sign up for our private community here if you want to enter for a chance to win. Something along those lines. But contests and giveaways can be a really great way to build your list and create a good fan magnet. Okay, so the third thing that I wrote down was exclusive songs. Okay, so first of all, oh yeah, and I forgot to mention this, but with the private fan community, some things that you can do that I think are really awesome are live streams. Like if you do live streams in that group, they're just fantastic. And another idea was, you can do early access for things. So you can give them early access to songs. You can ask for their feedback on demos, cool stuff like that. Okay, but for a fan magnet, for like if they go to the page and you offer them something in return for their email address, a couple of ideas that you could offer them are things like exclusive songs. So you could offer them demo songs that you haven't officially released. You could offer them acoustic songs, like acoustic versions of songs. And you could even offer them just unreleased songs in general. All those things are going to be something that someone who is a fan, someone who's gone through this and kind of wants to connect with you more, are going to be really excited by. Okay, so the next step is after you've found your fans, you've introduced yourself, you've started to connect with them. Then how do you connect with them deeper so that you can accelerate it and then eventually, move things to the next level with some sort of offer. So I put step 3 as a relationship accelerator. So here's some of my favorite ideas for building because really, I mean, honestly, this is just about building a community and building a relationship. And, in some ways, I feel like you can't really force this too much. Like, you just have to genuinely want to make a connection with people and, and be willing to listen to them and connect with them just as like a human being. But here are some of the most effective ways that I found that, you can do that and accelerate it so that you can kind of build the relationship. So one is live streaming. So basically what we're doing right now, it's basically just it's you and me right now, Naveed. It looks like it's just the two of us. I didn't send out the email until just like a couple minutes after it started. So, but this is cool. This is like, Naveed, you and me are really getting to know each other right now. And so it's what live streaming is all about. This is relationship building. And I think with your fans, doing live stream performances is huge. I know of several artists who went from literally or practically nothing, and they started doing Facebook Lives regularly. They had like a virtual tip jar that they used PayPal for, and they just literally had an acoustic guitar, and now it's like a country artist, and she's making $100,000 per year from her tip jar on Facebook Lives, and it's like huge, traffic. So it's great. In a lot of ways, it becomes a traffic generator because it's so great. But yeah, live streaming, live performances, I think are great. And also just live streaming and connecting with people face to face. Even if you have like a new announcement or you're doing something like that, live streaming is awesome. Okay, so another way that you accelerate relationships is live shows. And again, this goes a lot with live streaming. I think just being with someone face to face really helps you build that connection as opposed to trying to send them messages online. Like you can kind of do that if you're messaging them personally, but there's nothing like a live show. Like when you're playing a show and you're on stage, those people who come out and see you, that form of connection is so strong that it's just a great way to accelerate a relationship. Okay, so another relationship accelerator. Again, so some of these you can actually are circular, so they kind of tie in together, but it's still important to think about it in terms of taking steps. Like when you first meet someone, then you go this, then this. But a lot of these, they kind of tie in together. So, but music videos again are a great way to build more relationships with people or build a stronger relationship. So doing original ones is smart. Again, cover songs are still a great accelerator as well. And also your music. So, you're a musician, your songs express who you are, and the people that listen to your music and that enjoy it, they resonate with it, and it's a natural relationship accelerator. If they listen to your songs and they enjoy them and it strikes a chord with them, then that's going to build that relationship really quickly, even if you haven't really met them in person. So, of course, as a musician, you have your music, and that's a good relationship accelerator. And once you have people who have opted into your list through your fan magnet, then it's way more direct to send them all of these things as opposed to just kind of like posting them somewhere and hoping that someone will find them. Okay, so step number 4. So what do you actually offer before they become a fan? So here again, there's just a few different ideas for you. One, having some sort of merch bundle is pretty much a must, I think, especially if you create some sort of funnel where you're running this all the way through. So you do Facebook ads to a music video, build an audience for that, and then do a Facebook ad with a giveaway so that they join your list. And then on your list, maybe you have a few weeks, or maybe you have some sort of sequence where you send them some videos and you connect with them and you live stream. From that point, then you want to have some sort of offer at the end, just so those people, not everyone will take you up on it, and that's okay. But people who have connected with you and resonate with what you're doing will want to support you, and they'll want to be more involved, and they'll want to, buy your merch and cool stuff like tickets and house shows and your Patreon page. So I think it's important to have kind of this stuff figure it out before I mean, not necessarily before, but eventually, if you want to have a professional career as a musician, you need to be able to offer something for value so that you can afford to, go on tour and release new music and all that stuff. So merch bundle, of course, is pretty much an essential for a band these days. Tickets for shows is something that you can offer as well. And all these things are, Facebook ads can be a tool that kind of helps you drive traffic throughout this whole funnel. So at the end of this, you could drive Facebook ads to a merch bundle and just target the people that you know went through your relationship accelerator. You could also send them a special deal for tickets. Say buy one, get one free, or if you pre-order, you get a VIP pass automatically, or you're an artist, you're creative. These are all just kind of ideas that I came up with, but I believe in you. I believe that if you use this framework, you can come up with really cool product ideas. House shows are something that works really, really well for us. They're an incredible relationship accelerator too. I mean, when people get to this point, the product really is a relationship accelerator in its own. Like all these things are going to help you create a stronger bond with your fans. It's just that these are things that are actually going to support you in the long run. So house shows are fantastic. We started out doing house shows. I think we only charged like $150, $200 for a house show, and by the end we were doing them for $2,500 to $5,000 for a house show. So these can really be an amazing source of income eventually. But they're just a great way to really connect and build an incredibly strong bond. And the last idea for a product, and this is something we talked about earlier, is Patreon. So Patreon is really cool. It's basically, it's like, I know, Naveed, you've probably heard of it before, but it's a membership site. I mean, I'll just literally pull it up right now. Patreon. Okay, so I haven't actually started my Patreon yet, but I've started creating it, but I haven't actually released it. Here's one, for example, Future Sunsets is creating music and art. And you can see that he has all these rewards on the right side for people if they pledge $1 or more per video. So he's releasing videos, people can pledge. It's like Kickstarter, but they pay every time he releases a new video. And you can change it if you want. You can do it every time you do a live stream, or you can do it every time or once per month, they can pledge. But basically there's just a lot of different tiers that you can offer. And let's see, like really far down, you can offer ones like $250 or more per video, and $125 or more per video. 2 people sign up for that for every single video release. I think he releases like 2 per month. Let's see. And so right now, Future Sunsets, he's making $1,179 per video. And that's really awesome, especially considering that most of us are releasing videos just for free, just in hopes of, driving traffic or something. So having a Patreon, in a lot of ways, I see it as a way that you can, create artwork and have it support you on a regular basis, but also let people join at the rate that they can afford, because not everyone can afford house shows and stuff. But it's just a cool membership platform. I think membership platforms are, like I said earlier, are going to play a big role for musicians moving forward. Okay, so just quick overview again. This is how it all looks. These are all the steps that you can take. If you want to start off generating traffic, you want to have some sort of opt-in for a fan magnet. You want to have some sort of nurturing phase where you build more of a relationship, and then you want to have some sort of product that you can offer them. And I'm going to go ahead and show you some examples to maybe make this a little bit more clear. Naveed, are you still with me, man? I don't want to lose you. It's a little bit weird doing these live streams because I feel like I'm talking for a really long time, and usually conversations are a little bit more multi-directional. So, okay. So I wanted to show you guys, some examples of tools you can use for your fan magnet. So this is ClickFunnels, and this is basically a landing page tool that you can use. Maybe it's enlisting, man, all good stuff. Okay, awesome. So this is a basic funnel that I set up for my inner circle. So I created like a Patreon type thing without using Patreon. And I'm thinking about switching over because Patreon, I took the really confusing way of doing it. I think Patreon is way simpler and just makes more sense, probably. But I created like my own thing. So this is my Moons group. I have the Rays, the Moons, and the Stars. The Rays is like a free to join private fan community. Then the Moons is $10 per month. And then the Stars, they get like a house show along with it, and they get access to this private Stars group here. I think there's like 8 people in here right now. And that's $197 per month that they can join the Stars. So yeah, and this is something you can do with Patreon. I think, again, I kind of rigged this myself, but you can create a Facebook group for each of them. The only one I do the Facebook Messenger for is with the Stars, and we talk there pretty regularly. And then I do a lot of live streams and stuff for the Moons. Here's some artwork that someone did. And yeah, the sign up that people go through for it is through ClickFunnels. They might land on this page that says the Rays, become a Ray, join the Rays. And they can opt in for just their email address, and it sends them to a thank you page that has a link so that they can join the community. And from there, they can join the Rays. And once I have the email address, then I can follow up with the Relationship Accelerator. So I can do live streams. I can message them with music and with music videos, and basically just stay in touch with them and build a relationship. And eventually, for the people who are engaged, I can send them an invite and say, hey, maybe you'd be interested in this Moons group. We have all this awesome stuff, so on and so forth. And what I do for between the Moons and the Stars is, this is a pretty big commitment. $197 per month is not something to be taken lightly for someone, but it's also incredible. They get a house show, they get access to this group where we talk all the time. But it's a pretty big deal. So for what I do for that is I actually have in my Moons is sort of like my main base. That's where I do most of my interaction kind of stuff. And once per month, I have the Star of the Month. And basically, I choose a Star of the Month based on people who have engaged the most or people who are doing the most for the community. It's basically a way that I can recognize and acknowledge fans who are just awesome and are going above and beyond. And so what I do is I choose a Star of the Month, and they get to join the Stars for a month. So I have like Caitlin is my Star of the Month for February, and basically they join the Star of the Month, and we're all hanging out once per month with the Stars. They also get access to the Stars Gala, which is like a Skype session that we do with all of us. So it's like an actual video chat rather than a live stream. And so what I do is for the Star of the Month, I have a bonus where I say, while you've joined the Stars for the month, if you want, it's totally optional. You can choose to stay in the Stars, and instead of paying $197 per month, you can pay $97 per month for a year, which is a pretty big deal. Saving them over $1,000 if they decide to do it. And then sometime during the month, I'll reach out to the person who is the Star of the Month, and I'll ask if they would be open to jumping on a video chat and talking about the Stars group. And it's twofold, like that video chat serves me. So one, my main focus is just like connecting with them and asking them questions and getting their insights on the Stars and getting their ideas for how I can improve. But like 99% of the ideas that I come up with are things that I got from listening to my fans and actually paying attention and giving them what they actually want, not what I think that they want. And one of the ways I do that is by getting on a video chat with the Star of the Month. And this is someone who I know is like, the reason that the Star of the Month is because they've engaged a lot. They're awesome. They're a great fan. So they always have really smart and relevant ideas. So one, it's really valuable to talk with them like that, just on video chat. And then two, that's also my opportunity to talk with them about the stars and with like the special deal, and super low pressure, let them know that if they want to stay in the stars, that they can get it for $97 a month instead of $197 if they do it before the end of the month. So that was sort of a test, this idea like, oh, like maybe I'll offer the stars group for a discount for people who join. And it has been working incredibly well. Like, I think I've done this for 4 months, and every single person that was a star of the month ended up bumping up and joining the stars group. So yeah, I think the connecting with people face to face on live video is just awesome. It's just a great way to connect with people. It's like a really great relationship accelerator. So if you have some sort of high tier, offer like that, like a house show or something, then it can really help. Like those people that are my stars, they support me more than all of the moons combined. So it's really valuable to have some sort of high, offer like that for people who are super dedicated and super, want to be super connected. And that's one way that I've used it that works really well. Okay, so what other things that I want to show you? Okay, so traffic generator music videos. I wanted to show you my band's, how we did music videos. These are all original songs that are coming up. But, I mean, one of the first things we ever did was release cover videos, and they were responsible for a lot of traffic for us. Let's see. So here's one that we did for Payphone by Maroon 5. They got 3.1 million views. Call Me Maybe got 1.8 million views. This is an original song that got 1 million views. But I mean, one of the reasons that, so we had original songs and cover songs. You don't have to like only do cover songs, but this can be really valuable just in terms of, building traffic and building a fan base. Yo, what up, Griffin? Glad to have you here. Okay, so yeah, cover videos are a great way to generate traffic. You can mix in original videos with it. Here's another cover video that we did. Cover video, original video. So yeah, that's one way. And with music videos, they're really versatile too, where, you can post them on YouTube, and also you can use them to build an audience that you can send your fan magnet to on Facebook. So if you post it directly on Facebook, then you can create an audience out of the people who watched it. You can say, I only want to target people who watched 75% of the music video. And that's just way more of a focused audience for you to send your fan magnet to. So that's really valuable. Okay, so I think I've shown you, all the examples that I wanted to show you. So let's get trippy again. It's going on forever. Okay, cool. So we're back. I guess that's really all I have for you guys. So at this point, do you have any questions or specific concerns or challenges that you're experiencing right now that I might be able to help you with? And while I'm waiting, I'm gonna go grab a plum. I'm kind of hungry. Back in a second. Come back. Get back in tune. Oh, there we go. Cool. Okay, so no one said anything yet. Naveed or Griffin, what are some ideas that you might be interested in using for your fan magnet? I mean, can you go over how to create that lookalike audience on Facebook based on who watched most of your video, for example? Sure. Okay. So first you go to, oh, actually I gotta switch it over here in a second. So I'll start screen sharing as I get pulled up here. Mm, ba, ba, da, ba, da, ba, do, ba. Mm, okay. Mm. So I just got to get everything moved over to my music business account. So it's right now it's on my Modern Musician account. So I want to make it more relevant by actually showing you the music one. Okay. So start screen sharing right now. Okay, so what you do first is, I mean, I don't know if how much experience you have with like running ads on Facebook, but you go to business.facebook.com, and if you haven't yet, you can create a business. You can link your page, and then you go to Ad Manager on the top left. Okay, so it's my Modern Musician, so I want to go to MJ Walker. Okay. So let's just say that I wanted to, so I'd go to create ad, create a new ad, start over. If you wanted to run traffic to the video, you could do a traffic campaign, or you could do engagement. That actually might be a little bit better. Honestly, like all this stuff are just things that I would figure out as I go. Like I'm not like, the ultimate expert of all this stuff. I always just learn as I go, and I think that's one of the tips. But basically, this is where you start. So you come down here. I would do for the very first one where you're just doing the video. I would do engagement and run the ad. You can split test it if you want. Um, and eventually you get down to your ad, and you want to make sure that it's your music page, and you can select a post. So first, actually, you would probably want to go to videos and upload your video, like your music video, and then you can select it. And if I was you, I mean, I guess you were asking about the lookalike audience, so I'm getting a little bit sidetracked, but this is how you would run the video ad. So you would select the video, and then there'd be like some more options where you can do the description. So I'd just do like a simple headline. One tip: don't put a link on the first one when it's just the video, or else Facebook is going to cut the algorithm so you don't reach as many people. The first one you want to do just the video. Maybe the second one on the follow-up one, when you're doing the fan magnet and you want to get people to opt in for your email list, then you can do a link. But okay, so lookalike audience would be, if you go to your audiences, go to your music. Okay, so I already created one here based on my email subscribers. So these are my email subscribers. So I have uploaded these based on the people who opted in. Like, so these are the people who already got my fan magnet. And you can also say I have a bunch of audiences just based on people who I think would like my music. So this is a good thing to have, just kind of saved, so you can test them and you can run ads and see which one converts best. Um, But what you can do is, I've already done it, but once you have, or let's say this, so you could create a custom audience, first of all, for engagement. So first you do engagement, and then you do video. And then you say people who have watched at least 95% of your video. Those are like some crazy dedicated fans, right? But I think maybe testing these two, 50% and 75%, are two good ones. And then you can choose which videos you want to boost. And so once you create that audience, and especially if you did a campaign where first you ran traffic to your video, then you would have more than enough people who actually watched 75% of the video. And once you have that list, I think usually they recommend between 200 and 1,000 people at least before you create a lookalike audience. So yeah, you should have that. If you put like $100 of budget into the video ad, then you should have at least that. And then you can go, let's see. Yeah, you do what I just did there, and you choose the video engagement, and then it shows it like create lookalike audience. On the custom audience, you can click create lookalike. And once you do that, then you can say what locations. You definitely, I mean, if you're just starting out, I think United States is a good one. The UK, through Ukraine, that's what we want. So this is one thing too. If you guys want to know like a really, really scammy, not good thing to do, you can basically get a lot of likes for really cheap by instead of targeting the United States and the United Kingdom and Australia and New Zealand, like basically when you're just starting out, and if you're an American or you speak English and that's kind of who you're targeting with your music, then you want to target the countries that speak English because those are going to be the people who actually buy your music. But what some people will do is they'll exclude locate of all these locations and run ads, so they get hundreds of thousands, millions of likes, and all of them are worthless. Like they won't buy anything. Most of them are probably bots. Like they're not even real. And then you go to their page on Facebook and they have like 100,000, a million likes, and they post something and they get like 2 or 3 likes per post. And that's kind of how you know that they did this, or they just got bought fake followers. But what you want to do is you want to actually get real people who are going to enjoy your music and become fans. And you can experiment. You can do different sizes. The lower the size, the more in tune they're going to be with that specific person you gave them. So if it was 75%, people who watch 75% of your video, then if you're at 1, then it's going to find people who are a lot like those people who would watch the video. And the bigger you get, the more people, but the less relevant, the less perfectly aligned they are with that audience you gave them. So I think doing 1 or 2 is usually a good bet. And then you just create the audience, and from there, the next time you're running an ad and it's asking you like who do you want to target, you can choose your lookalike audience specifically, and you can target those people. Okay, does that make sense, Navid? Does that clear things up? I know that like a lot of that stuff is kind of techy and confusing, but it's really, man, it's not that hard if you just take it one step at a time. So many people are like, oh, I'm not a tech person, or I can't do this. I feel like actually you'd probably be fine with it, Navid, but really there are plenty of guides and steps. Like Facebook itself will tell you exactly what to do because they want you to be on there using their platform and giving them money. So like they give you really good directions, probably the best instructions from anyone. So just take it step by step and you can learn all this stuff. Griffin says, I know I had mentioned this to you via email, but I'm able to watch these classes for unlimited use. It'll help refresh my memory on everything you've covered. Also, my ideal scenario right now is to build a fan base of people who will consistently want to support what I can do, so I can support them just as much. Awesome. Yeah, Griffin, I'm not sure if you saw, I actually replied to your email. So the tour hacking workshop, basically what I did for it is at the end, there's a post workshop survey that it goes to a page, and I just ask like two questions. I ask, what was like your biggest takeaway from the workshop, and was anything missing, or like how could I improve it? And if you answer those two questions, then it goes to a registration page where you can actually sign up and get the replays for free, along with the other stuff for the entire rest of your life. So yeah, you can get those for free. This video itself that I'm doing right now, I'm actually just doing on the Facebook page. So this is going to be available forever, unless I unless I go back and I'm like, wow, I'm an idiot. I sound like a squirrel. But I won't do that. I'm not that self-conscious. So yeah, this is going to be available forever. So don't worry about that. But that's definitely helpful. Seems like a trial and error type process is going to be important since every brand is different with different goals. Absolutely. So probably one of the best pieces of advice that I've ever gotten was I mean, this was something I came up with. I was going to say this is something that I got, but I mean, everyone does this to a certain extent, but I think it's really easy to get too wrapped up with trying to be perfect and try to get things exactly right and waiting for the right moment. There's never quite right. We're never quite where we need to be in order to do the thing that we should do. We're like, oh, it'll be right tomorrow, or like, once I do this, then I can finally do this. And it's really easy. I think that kind of comes from fear to move forward, and fear to fail and make a mistake. And one analogy that I've really been talking about a lot, I've been doing this, I think Naveed, we probably talked about this, is this analogy of like a dartboard. So I think it's really important with your music career to make some really specific goals, targets that you want to hit. And it's kind of like creating a dartboard. And in the very center, you have a bullseye. So let's say that my goal was I wanted to, well, Griffin, you said you want to be able to, you want to connect with a fan base of people who will consistently want to support you so that you can support them too. So that's like very high up in the clouds. I think it's really important to get really specific in terms of setting goals, so that you can track and measure the progress that you're making. So you can know if the things you're doing are moving you towards where you want to go. So for example, one target that you could set would be, I want to have 10,000 fans and I want to be making $10,000 every 3 months. Or maybe, let's say you're just kind of starting out and you want to grow. Maybe I want to hit $3,000 per month with my music career. And what I like to do is I like to set 3 goals. One is like the bullseye of the dartboard. One is like just surrounding the bullseye. And then one is the entire dartboard. So, maybe the bullseye for you, maybe it's actually $5,000 per month. Like if you stepped up to the dartboard and you threw it and you hit the bullseye, it would be amazing if you were making $5,000 a month with your music, enough to support you. And because of that, you had 30,000 fans. But then you can say, okay, if I want to be a little bit more realistic, if I want to zoom out a little bit, if I throw it and it's not a bullseye, because you acknowledge, like every time I step up to throw a dart, it's pretty rare that it's actually going to be a bullseye. I'm going to aim for the bullseye, but I'm not going to be so attached to it that I don't throw it. So maybe the second goal would be, by the end of the year, I want to have 10,000 fans, and I want to be making $2,000 per month or $2,500 a month with my music. And then maybe you zoom out even more and you say, okay, at least if I'm on the board, like the minimum that I really need to hit, maybe that would be if I have 5,000 fans online and I'm making $1,000 per month, with my music. And I think getting really clear like that is really helpful, because it kind of it's too easy if we have kind of a vague idea of what we want to really be able to measure and the things that we're doing in order to see if we're moving towards it. So in this analogy, your darts are going to be your strategies for doing this. Okay, so I still have this pulled up. So maybe your darts are going to be each of these things. So like you're going to create a music video, or you're going to go promote in line for a show, or you're going to try to collaborate with an artist. It's really important, like Navid said, super important to do trial and error. Like you don't go into it thinking like this is definitely going to be the music video that it changes everything. Really what you want to do is you want to have an open mind, and it's like you're stepping up to throw a dart at a dartboard. You have the dart, you can acknowledge you're like, I'm going to aim for the bullseye. It's probably not going to hit the bullseye, but hopefully I'll get on the board. You step up, you aim, you throw, and you see what happens. And you're like, okay, well, that one landed to the right. So my next dart, I guess I should throw it more to the left to get closer to the bullseye. So then you're like, okay, I'm going to try the promotion thing. You go do it. You sell 24,000 CDs in 4 months. And you're like, oh shit, that's the bullseye. Then, then that's something that you keep doing. But at the same time, you keep your options. You try out different darts too. You start experimenting, and you do it with an open mind. So you don't have too much attachment to any of these ideas. Like Navid said, it's a trial and error type of thing. You see what works. Everybody's different. Anyone who tells you that their way is the only way is probably lying to you and probably wants to sell you something. The truth is that, yeah, we're all different. Everyone has a unique situation, and no one can promise you 100% that anything is definitely going to work. So what you need to do is you need to try out different things and see what resonates, what works for you, what actually attracts people, and what works. And in order to do that, you need to have the dartboard so that you can, because like if you don't have the dartboard and you're throwing the darts, then it's it doesn't matter where you throw them. It's like Alice in Wonderland. If you don't know where you're going, then any direction will get you there. So you really want to sit down and make goals like that, and to really think about the strategies and be like, okay, like, this is what we're going to try. This is what we're shooting for. If we get a bullseye with, you could do this for each of them. If you're promoting in lines, you could say, this is what we're aiming for. A bullseye would be, selling 100 CDs. Outer ring would be selling 50 CDs. The other ring would be selling 20 CDs. So you can do that for each of these strategies. And then as you do them, you really want to measure and keep track and see which ones are working, so that you can kind of dial those in and get feedback. And eventually all this, kind of synergizes and works together really well. And it's like a snowball effect. It kind of grows, because once you're making more of an income, you can invest back more into your traffic generation with Facebook ads or with creating music videos or, bigger and better artists. So it's very circular, as you go through this process. But yeah, this is just sort of an overall, look at how this process might look for you. Griffin says, I remember a question I had. Can you give me an example of how you approach a stranger at Warped Tour? Do you have a method of basically saying, hey, check out my music? Also, what specifically led you to gain revenue? I'm having a hard time being specific about what I want, mainly because I'm not sure how to go about making a goal and achieving that goal as soon as possible. Thanks for the question, Griffin. So definitely when you're first starting out and you don't have a clear idea of what goals you should even set, it's great to try to find some models or some other people who have done it. Like, if you can use other people as inspiration, you can see how did they generate traffic? How did they, convert people to meet Cafe Night? How did they accelerate through? And, you can kind of test out those things, and you can see what results did they have when they did it. If you can connect with those people, then that's a great way to kind of form realistic goals, maybe. But in the end, also, sometimes you just got to do it. Like, even if you set a goal and you're way off, I like to set goals in 2-week increments, so that by the end of the 2 weeks, I have a dartboard for every 2 weeks, and I know if it's working and I know if it's not. So I think it's smart to set to chunk it down to 2-week projects and to have something you release, have something you can measure by the end of every 2 weeks. But yeah, there have been times when I first started doing it, I was wrong a lot. Like I set goals and I'm like, oh, well, that wasn't even close. Or, I should, it was actually, I should have aimed higher. We did not realize we were going to sell 24,000 CDs when we were doing that. Our goal was just to meet as many people as possible and connect. And the CD thing just happened. And, okay, I want to answer your question. So can you give me an example of how you approach a stranger at Warped Tour? So in my tour hacking workshop, I actually do, it's call number two, day number two, that I literally go through the exact, what I used to say generally. It was sort of like the overall framework. So it would depend a lot based on who I was talking to, but I definitely had the same process that I would normally introduce myself and all that stuff. So Griffin, day number two of the tour hacking workshop, you can find that. So I've been listening to what you've been saying, though. I understand you need a clear idea so it's easier to set goals. Yes, absolutely. But I guess I can maybe answer your question while you're on here, Griffin. So you definitely don't want to just walk up to people and be like, hey, check out my music. That's sort of like skipping the introduction phase, right? Like you have the potential fans, you have to introduce yourself to them first. Imagine that you're just like meeting someone at a party, like you have to meet them first. And it's great. Yeah. I mean, you don't just want to go up and be like, hey, buy my CD, immediately skip to the offers. So what I used to do is I would walk up to someone who was standing in line. And the first question I would usually ask would be like, at first I would walk up to the person who's at the front of the line, because those are always the people who got there first, or the most engaged. I would say like, hey, are you guys here for the All Time Low show? And we didn't do this at Warped Tour, by the way. We actually did it on different tours around the country. And so then they'd be like, yeah, we are here for the All Time Low show. And of course, they're waiting in line. But asking that question kind of helps put things in context for them, so they know that I'm like about to have a conversation about the All Time Low show. I'm not some sort of random bum who's just like walking up off the street. So then I would say, okay, awesome. Is it okay if I talk to you for a couple minutes while you're waiting in line? And 99.9% of the time they'd be like, sure, what's up? So, awesome. Okay, so my name is Michael. I play keyboard in a band called Paradise Ears. And basically, we're from South Dakota. All Time Low is a huge inspiration to us. We love their music, and they inspired a lot of our music. And so we realized that, before these shows, there's this huge line of people standing outside. And we're like, well, if people are here for the All Time Low show, then they might like our music too. So if you're interested, I have some headphones here with some clips of our music. But I should probably warn you, most people who listen to it enjoy it so much that they start to like cry and faint. So if you need any tissues, I brought tissues in my backpack. I have really fast reflexes. I can make sure you don't like hit your head on the ground if you faint. And that was like a really good icebreaker, so people would kind of relax and we'd be like, oh yeah, absolutely, and so I'd hand them the headphones. They would listen. I would have 20-30 second clips. And at that point, usually there's like a group of people, so I would start a conversation with the rest of the people. So, which band are you here for tonight? Or, like how long you've been listening to them for? Have you ever been to an All Time Low show before? Or what's your favorite All Time Low song? Just being yourself and just having a conversation, with those people. And so everyone would make their way around the headphones. And I also had headphones that split into two so that two people could listen at once. And those were really nice. And after everyone would listen, I would ask, so like, what do you guys think? Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? 99.9% of the time, they'd be like, yeah, we really liked it. That's awesome. Like, are you guys on iTunes, or do you have a CD? And I was like, oh, well, if you're interested, I do have this backpack full of CDs. And I was without a backpack. I was without a CD. I'd say, it's called Yours Truly. There's 11 songs on it. We recorded it with the guys who recorded Mayday Parade, All Time Low, Parachute. So it's sort of like they all got together one night and they had a baby. And yeah, there's 11 songs on it. So if you guys like the music and you're interested, usually we charge $10 for it because there's 11 songs. But to be totally honest, the reason that I'm out here right now isn't because I'm super concerned about making money, and I want to. That's not why I became a musician. The reason that I'm here is because I really love this and I love connecting with you. And I think, I want to make an impact on you, like All Time Low impacted my life. And I think that if you liked what you just listened to, that you'd actually like the CD. So if you have $10 on you, like I said, we really appreciate it. It goes towards recording new music and, gas and hotels and all that stuff. But like I said, the reason I'm out here isn't about making money. So I'm happy to give you a CD for free. And that's how I, positioned the CD sale. And it was true. Like I would have been happy. I would rather them have a CD than not have a CD. But what I found was that, 4 out of 5 groups that I talked to would actually buy a CD at full price, even though people didn't listen to CDs anymore. It didn't make sense. People, everything was digital. But there's something about meeting someone face to face like that and connecting with them and having a real conversation. And that offer, is just, it was just true. It was authentic. And I think people at that point, they want to support you. It's not really just about the convenience of the CD. And the CD can be kind of a cool keepsake. So yeah, a lot of people, probably 4 out of 5 groups I talked to, at least one person would buy a CD. And if one person bought, then it was pretty likely that, multiple people in the group were going to buy. So at that point, I would be like, thank you so much. You guys are amazing. I actually have this Sharpie that I brought. Sometimes people, like to have their CD signed. Is that something you'd be interested in? And of course, everyone was like, oh yeah, absolutely. So then all of a sudden those CDs become way more valuable. And I might make a joke about, oh yeah, when you're 80 years old and you're telling your granddaughter about this, like she's not going to believe you because obviously by then we're going to be huge. But you can show her this CD, and now you have proof. And so I might make that joke, but I would sign the CDs for them. And what you're doing also when you sign those CDs, everyone else in line is watching you going through this process and talking to people and having CDs. And so like by the time you get to them, they kind of understand what's going on, but it's still kind of interesting. And they see you, signing their CDs and taking pictures and stuff with them. All of a sudden, it makes you kind of look like a badass because it's like, wow, this like, who is this guy? Yeah. And so then at that point, what you might do is you might say, hey, you guys are so awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to keep talking and meeting new people, but I really appreciate you, supporting us and getting a CD. Hey, if you're interested, actually, one of the songs that you listen to isn't even officially released yet. It's not on the CD. If you're interested, when I go home tonight, I could, send you an email with one of the songs or with that, song before it's released. And they'd be like, oh yeah, that would be awesome. So like, okay, cool. So if you want, you can just, enter your email address here on my phone and I'll send you the song tonight when I go home. And that's how you can connect the email address at the end of it so that you can actually follow up with those people. And when you do that, you want to separate the people who ended up getting a CD and the people who didn't get a CD. Both of them are going to be amazing, but the people who got a CD are probably going to be, the number I've heard before is like 10 times more quote unquote valuable. Everyone's equally valuable as a person, but 10 times more valuable in terms of like a customer, in terms of a fan who buys something from you than someone who didn't. So then as you're meeting all these people, you're building this email list of people who are super engaged and people who met you face to face and people who go to shows and people who bought your CD. Like they resonated with something inside of you when you connected with them. And that's why they wanted to support you. You have a list of those people. Then you go on Facebook, you create a lookalike audience out of those people. Then that's just probably 100 times more effective than creating a lookalike audience out of people who viewed your video on Facebook. Because that doesn't mean it means something. It means that they probably liked your music and they were willing to watch the video. But those aren't necessarily the same people that go out to shows and it's their life. So yeah, that was like the whole long spiel, like what I talked about in day 2 of the workshop. So let me see what else you're saying. Are you able to promote even without having the material to back up your band or project? Right now, my Metal Band's album is still in the works, so I'm curious as to how to get the ball rolling even before my music is released. Also, I'll be watching your day 2 video like a hawk in order to grasp a read for your method. So also I see that your method involved a lot of emotional honesty. I wouldn't want to seem too overwhelming. I don't want to sound too desperate. Not that you sound desperate, but I want the person to remember you as someone who didn't come on too strong or suddenly. Yeah, I mean, dude, you just got to be yourself, and the you don't want to come off as desperate or anything. You just be you be yourself. I think that as you talk to more and more people, you kind of learn more about yourself and you get more comfortable. I think when I first started doing it, I was terrified. I was a really shy kid. I was really awkward and I had like social anxiety. So it was not easy for me, but it was probably the number one thing that kind of helped me overcome my social anxiety. Like after I did that, I started feeling more comfortable in my own skin. I started to realize that it's not that big of a deal if I get, rejected, someone doesn't want to buy my CD and it's not the end of the world. Like I'll just move on to the next person. It's really not a big deal at all. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think that emotional honesty is important. If in terms of like creating a connection with another human being, it's good to be emotionally honest. Uh, and I don't think you necessarily have to be desperate in order to be emotionally honest. But again, like we talked about earlier, it's all a trial and error process. So the most important thing is just to go out and do it and kind of figure it out as you go, rather than trying to like get everything planned perfectly. You don't have to get it perfect. You just have to get it going. So Griffin says, I get that I need to talk to more people in order to overcome my social anxiety. LOL. That's definitely true. Yeah, man. Yeah, no, it's not easy at first. I'm not gonna lie to you, especially if you have social anxiety. Like this process is probably gonna be the toughest thing that you've ever done, like meeting those people, the strangers in line. But it's also going to be the most rewarding thing, and you're going to get a lot better at it. You're going to overcome your social anxiety pretty quickly. Like I think probably after like a week, you're going to be comfortable with doing it. So yeah, it's definitely a transformative process. I think it's going to help you a lot, especially if you do struggle with social anxiety. All right, man. Well, I think that about wraps up what I had planned for this video. Um, we already have a consultation scheduled, I think. Yeah, that's right. So we're going to be getting on the phone. We're going to be able to talk a little bit deeper. Um, for everyone else who might be watching this, maybe tuning in not live, but after the fact, I unfortunately I had to close down my my one-on-one consulting because I've already booked the maximum amount of clients that I can handle. So I'll still do the free consultations for the ones that I have set up. Maybe in the future at some point, once I have a little bit more time, I might open up more spots. But if you're interested in signing up for the wait list for the one-on-one consulting, you can just go to modernmusician.me/waitlist. And there's a page that you can put in your email address. And then the next time that I open up a spot or something, you can apply to work with me personally. So, Griffin, going straight into the field is probably the best move for me. I'll be scared shitless, maybe even feel sick to my stomach, but the earlier experience I get, the better. Absolutely, man. That's a great way to view it. And yeah, I think it's good to acknowledge that up front, to know like, it's gonna be scary. And dude, be prepared. Be prepared for the excuses, because whether you are prepared or not, they're gonna happen. You're gonna start feeling really afraid before you walk up and introduce yourself. And there's gonna be things that bubble up that are like, I shouldn't do this right now. Like this is a bad idea. There's not enough people in line. I don't know what I'm gonna say, or my music's not there yet. There's going to be a lot of excuses that bubble up, and the real root of like where they're coming from is just being afraid. But don't even allow yourself to rationalize it. One tool that I think can help a lot with that is something I just recently started doing actually, but I think I did it back when I was doing this in line too, is a countdown. So giving yourself like a 5 second countdown and then just doing it, I think is really important. Just like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom, and just like going and doing it and not thinking about it too much. But having that countdown and knowing at the end of it you're just gonna go do it is really helpful. And I use that countdown for a lot of stuff now. Like I use it when I wake up in the morning, so I don't keep hitting the snooze button. Like the alarm will go off, and I'll click it, and I'll be like, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom, and then I'll just like jump out of bed, and I'm just good to go. And if I didn't do that, then I might be laying in bed for like half an hour, just like hitting snooze, and just awful. So the 5 second tool is good for a lot of different stuff in your life, but especially good for situations like this where if you stop and you think too much about it, then there's going to be a lot of stuff that comes up. So it's good to just count down and just go do it. Will this live video be available to me forever too? Yes. Unless, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but unless I, for some reason, decide to take it down at some point, but I think that I'm going to leave it up. So this should be available here on this page as long as you need it. So, all right, man. Well, I'm going to head out, but it's been good hanging. I hope that this was helpful to you, and I'll look forward to talking to you. I think it's on Sunday, is our appointment. So, yeah, and for everyone else who was watching this but didn't watch it live, you suck. No, I'm just kidding. You're cool too. But yeah, if you're not watching this live and you're interested in consulting, it's not available right now, but you can sign up. Occasionally, I like to do free consultations. Like I'll do applications, and I'll pick out 5 to 10 of the people that I think I can help the most based on your situation. So if you're interested in signing up for the wait list, then again, it's just modernmusician.me. All right. See you later, Griffin.